In war, a single command can literally be the difference between mission success and total disaster. But what happens when you can't trust the voice giving that command? Communication has always been a battlefield for sure. But with the rise of AI, we're facing a threat that's, well, it's something else entirely. So let's get into it. This whole idea of messing with your enemy's comms, it's not new at all. I mean, for as long as we've had military radios, people have been trying to listen in, jam them, and even spoof them. Way back in World War II, the Germans had this thing called Funkspiel, where they'd use captured Allied radios to send out fake orders. And this problem has just continued all the way up to the 2024 leak of sensitive German military talks. History just keeps showing us that securing our communications is a never-ending.
And let's be real, the modern battlefield is an absolutely brutal environment for any kind of signal. Even with top-of-the-line encryption, our networks are shaky at best. You've got high packet loss because of terrain, you've got constant jamming from the enemy, and you've got everyone trying to intercept your messages. This means commands get corrupted, pieces go missing, and in the middle of a firefight, you can't just ask, hey, can you repeat that? That's not an option.
Okay, so now let's add a whole new layer of chaos to that picture. What if that garbled life or death command you just got wasn't just corrupted by static? What if it was a perfect AI-generated deepfake of your commanding officer's voice, designed from the ground up to fool you? How on earth would you know the difference?
So the first thought everyone has is pretty simple, right? Let's just build a better mousetrap. If bad AI is the problem, then good AI must be the solution. Let's build a detector. But this way of thinking leads us down a really dangerous path, one that we can't actually win. And here's the fundamental problem. Trying to build the perfect AI detector just kicks off an endless arms race. For every single detector we create, the generative AI on the other side just gets a little bit smarter, a little bit better at fooling it. You're in a constant game of cat and mouse, and the mouse is always evolving. It's a battle that you just can't win. So let's compare these two approaches, because this is where things get really interesting. The old way, AI detection, is probabilistic. It's basically giving you a percentage, a best guess. It's also reactive. It only kicks in after a fake has already been made and sent. But the new way, what we're calling structural authentication, is deterministic. It's a rock-solid yes or no. It's proactive, making sure the audio is authentic from the second it's created. It doesn't even try to compete in the arms race. It just steps around it completely. To get there, though, you need a huge mental shift, a fundamental change in what we decide to trust in the first place. It's not about the audio anymore. See, the real solution here isn't trying to build some genius-level AI that can outthink the forger's AI. No, it's about building a system where it doesn't matter how good the AI forgery is, a system that makes the fake totally and completely irrelevant. And it all boils down to this one simple but incredibly powerful rule. Stop trusting what you hear. Start trusting the journey it took to get to you. Don't trust the sound, trust the history. So how does that actually work? Well, it starts with a core principle. Humans are wired to trust voices. We just are. But a machine? A machine has to be taught not to. A machine's job is to verify the signal's entire story. So it asks a series of questions. Did this come from an authorized source? Is the signal complete? And are all the pieces in the right order? Has anyone or anything tampered with it along the way? And, this is a big one, is this a brand new command or is it just a recording of an old one being played back? If that audio can't prove its history, it gets thrown out, period. Doesn't matter how real it sounds. The best way to think about it is with a classic military analogy, a forged paper order. The real danger isn't that the forger has perfect handwriting. The danger is that a soldier might actually obey it. So the solution isn't to become the world's best handwriting expert, right? No, it's to check for the official signature, the proper seal. You verify its authority. And in this new model, that's exactly what a deepfake is. It's just an unauthorized communication, a forgery with no seal of approval. Okay, so that's the philosophy. But how does this system work in the real world? How do you actually make a piece of audio prove its own authenticity right from the moment it's spoken? All right, now this might look a little technical, but the core idea is actually really elegant. Look at the flow on the left. As the audio is being recorded, it's chopped up into tiny little chunks. Each chunk gets a unique digital fingerprint. That's what a hash is. And here's the clever part. They're chained together. Each new fingerprint is mathematically locked to the one that came just before it, creating this unbreakable chain of evidence. Now, over on the receiving end, the system does one simple thing. It checks the chain.
It verifies the original signature and makes sure the sequence is perfect, and it confirms the integrity of every single link. If even one tiny thing is out of place, if a link is broken or doesn't match, the whole thing is rejected. No guesswork, no percentages. It's either perfect or it's invalid. And what's really important to understand is that this isn't some massive, expensive rip-and-replace job. It's designed to be a really lightweight layer that just sits right on top of the communication systems the military already has. It's about strengthening what's there, not tearing it all down. So at the end of the day, why does this approach just flat out win? Well, it all comes down to two things: creating absolute black and white trust and making sure a human is always the one in control.
What's amazing is how this one architectural change just neutralizes a whole family of attacks. Deepfakes? They're dead on arrival. They're created out of thin air, so they have no cryptographic history to show. Rejected. Replay attacks, where someone just records an old command? Fails. The system checks for freshness and knows it's old data. Rejected. And trying to edit or splice together real audio? The second you do that, you break the math of that hash chain. The integrity check fails. Rejected.
And this is the knockout punch. Sure, an AI can get better and better at sounding like a person, but it can't break modern cryptography. The chances of an AI just guessing or faking a valid, signed cryptographic history are, for all practical purposes, zero. This isn't security based on a guess about audio quality. It's security based on the cold, hard laws of mathematics. The impact this has on the ground is just massive. It means reliable commands get through, and it makes decision-making safer for operators who are under unbelievable amounts of stress. Instead of getting a confusing, "we're 70% sure this is fake," the system gives them three simple, clear states. The audio is verified, it's degraded because of packet loss, but the parts you've got are real, or it's invalid. That's it. It gives the human operator crystal clear information to make that final critical call. So the single most important thing to take away from all this is simple, but it's a game changer. You don't solve the deepfake problem by trying to build a better AI detector. You solve it by changing the rules of the game entirely. You solve it by requiring every single piece of audio to prove where it came from and prove it hasn't been touched before you ever trust